Hindsight coming at you live from the studio. Yes, in the studio. And apologize, I am, for the delay in the posting of this episode. The reason why there's a delay is because the last episode I was really sweaty and nervous, and the one you haven't seen yet, the episode 2, and a lot of my words didn't come out right, and me and my brother are still learning how to interact with each other on camera, and it can be kind of difficult. So what I'm gonna do is I'm shooting this episode right now, and I'm gonna blend some of the stuff from the one I shot that's not out yet with some stuff I like, but I'm going to tell you a story right now that will be the focus of this talk, and then I'll, share some stuff from the other episode. I realize that I do need to be more prepared, and that's why I've got the notebook today. It's going to help me stay on topic, because I am, woo! That's my brain. It's here, it's there, it's up, it's down, it's left, it's right, it's square, it's circle. Sometimes, as the cliche goes, bad things happen to us, and it ends up being a blessing in disguise. Some don't like the word blessing, okay, but I do. I believe in blessings. I may or may not have been arrested once, or more than once, but one time of the evening in question, I basically had to, spend a few hours in a holding area, and I was young, 18 or 19, probably 19, and I was still in school. But I was also thinking about dropping out at this time. And not because of, the things I was going through, but because of the career path that I wanted to choose. The career path that I wanted to do, I figured was going to involve sales of some sort, or whatever. So that happened, and I kept it a secret from most people for a long time. But the next day, because I didn't come home at all, so obviously my dad knew something was up. He was giving me that stern, disappointing talk in the car, and I had missed a whole test in college the next day just because of the time, or maybe I went and took the test, but I failed it because I just didn't sleep and didn't study because I just didn't care. I haven't always been the bright, shiny dove that I am perceived as. I'm just kidding, I'm not perceived that way, but I'm a lot, not better of a person, but I'm careful now, and I make better life decisions, I think. But this was really the start of me forming my brain the way it is. So anyways, my dad was yelling at me, not yelling, giving me a disappointed, stern talking to, and I was just I was reading this book at the time, and my brain was starting to change, because this book, it's called, what's it called, bro? It was uncovering the basically how to use your subconscious mind, and what your subconscious mind is, what it does, how to program it. Yeah, I think it was called How to Program, something to do with the subconscious mind. I'll find it. And it kept basically saying in this book that the things that happen to us are because we've programmed our subconscious mind to act in patterns, and what we continue to do and think about on a deep level will kind of happen to us. So if you expect bad things to happen, a lot of times bad things will happen. Well, or but the book was teaching me to look at things in a different way. So I was like, okay, this is a huge point in my life where I got to make a decision. And the decision is to, I want to make sure my camera's still rolling. I just had a bad gut feeling. Hang on. All right, we're still rolling. And so at the time, I was reading this book, and I was what I was getting from the book was that I could basically become anything I wanted to. I just had to choose the path, and I can't dwell on things that are bad because I just won't. It won't work. So my dad was, yelling at me, or not yelling, but he was giving me a disappointed, stern talking to. My dad doesn't yell very much. Gave me a stern, disappointed talking to, and he was like, well, what do you think about all this? And I was like, well, in a weird way, I'm kind of glad that it happened because, I can't dwell on this forever, and neither can you, but this just allowed me to show me that I was involved with a lot of people that I shouldn't be involved with. So I was able to, cut some things out of my life. As that new Drake song says, I've been trading friends for peace. Sounds like a fair trade to me, That's okay, right? So, and I learned that, the path I was going down was the wrong path. So I was kind of able to hit a switch, right? And go a different way. And I also learned that maybe I don't want to do what I'm doing. Maybe I'm acting out and rebelling because what I'm currently embodying in my life isn't for me. So very shortly after I dropped out of school and I started at a sales job, I met a guy named Aaron Bayless. Shout out to Aaron. He's like, doing big things out there. And he was always dressed in a suit in class, and I was like, bro, why are you wearing a suit? And, he said, well, I'm getting into the sales job, and it's kind of difficult, and really, you don't get paid enough money. I mean, as an 18, 19-year-old making like 40 grand a year, 50 grand a year, it was pretty cool. But it wasn't a lot of money for the amount of work that you had to do. And, we had like 6 a.m. meetings, and we had to train people, and we had to take people in our cars and go cold calling the businesses. So pretend you're a business. And open your door. Ching, ching. Hello. My name is Mitch. I'm here to talk to, whoever handles all your office supplies and the ordering for your supplies. And the receptionist would be like, we don't take salespeople. Oh, no. You've got to confuse. I'm not a salesperson. I will sell you something if you want to buy, but until the point of me showing you products, I'm not here to sell you anything. Like I said, I'm just here to talk to whoever handles your office supply, because I guarantee they would like to save a couple $100, this month or week or whatever. But blah, blah, blah. So, you go see 50 to 100 businesses a day. You saw 50, I think, was the average. You ended up selling 2. And the big goal was it's called Boom. You sell $360 a product and you make $100. And I just thought, and then there was this thing inside the program where you could build a team. It's called Coyle. You can build a team. You can basically have your own office one day. And shout out to Rami Cindy out there. He's doing great. He's opened up several offices across the country. But honestly, my heart wasn't in it all the way, and I was a little immature. And honestly, not as good as a salesperson as I thought I was. Nor was I a good leader. I was young, but I thought I knew what I was doing. But it was a year. I did a year of this job where I cold called. I learned how to sell office supplies like printer, toner, all that stuff. And it just taught me so much because I read online, a 1 year of cold calling equals like a master's degree of sales. And so I did my full year. I became I think I became a good sales guy. And Mitch, why are you a good sales guy? Qualify yourself. Okay. My wife currently doesn't work. She's back in school. We own a house, a couple cars, and my sales ability and the blessings from God help pay basically all the bills, right? So I'm 26. I've been on my own since I was 19 or 20. And I've had a sales job all those years. And in the beginning, the first few years, man, there was ups and downs. One time I had to live in my girlfriend's mom's basement. Not my wife, but, you know, at the time, you know, and that wasn't normal for them, you know, and I was like, so, you know, it was just trying to help me, you know. But the past couple of years, it's just been kind of clicking, and I've been firing on all cylinders. And I don't want to brag, so I'm going to stop here. But it's just been great, and I didn't really think I was going to have the support that I had, and I still went for it. And if you're thinking about going for a sales job and you really want to change, and inflation's happening right in front of us, which means that if you get into retail sales, you can make more money because prices of stuff are going up naturally, which means more profit for the store. The stores aren't spending any more money. I mean, there are price increases, but not at the rate that inflation is happening, right? So, man, if you're living at home in your mom or dad's basement and they just want to see you succeed and they're going to feed you while you take a risk, go get a sales job. I got people that keep commenting and keep hating on me and saying, oh, you don't recommend people go into sales, bro. That could not be for them. Okay, is that $12 an hour that you're making right now enough money for you? Is it? $12 an hour? Is that paying all your bills? Are you able to take your vacations with that money? Man, I'm just sick and tired of seeing people that deserve to get paid more. Mitch, money isn't everything. That's not what I'm saying. I don't even like money. I do not like the concept of money. I don't like making money. I don't like appearing like I have money. No. But what I hate seeing more than those feelings are people who are living paycheck to paycheck, dead, broke, who deserve to not live like that, because I can see their talent, I can see their skill. And if you're listening to this and you're like, Mitch, I've got talent, man, I've got skill, I just don't know where to put it. And if you have an addictive personality, like you're addicted to drugs or alcohol or gaming, then dude, sales is perfect for you, because you just got to learn how to switch your addiction. And this is something I battle with, man. I've battled with addiction. And you got to learn how to switch your addiction. And if you get addicted to sales and watching the sales videos and the clips and learning the word tracks and learning how to close and learning how to be genuine, it's going to change your life forever. Forever. That's all I got on that topic, man. It'll change your life, though. My life has been changed. Shout out Mike Coyle, man. Mike Coyle changed my life. He's my current general manager, but he was my regional manager at one point. But more than that, man, he's been like another father figure to me. He's been, and I love my dad, and my dad, you know, he's great, and he's my father figure, so I'm not taking anything away from my dad. But Mike has been like another father figure in the sense of every single day we work with each other, so I get more interaction. And when I first started, he asked me, Mitch, what's your goal? And I said, you know, I want to make X amount of dollars. And he laughed, and he was like, man, what if you could double that or triple that? And the amount that I gave him was already double than what I was making. So I was like, dude, what are you talking about? You are crazy. Like, how can I make quadruple the money that I've ever made in my life in 1 year, right? Like, it didn't register in my brain. And, you know, every sales meeting he would talk about, there's this one meeting that's a story that this isn't a story he invented, but I'm going to check the camera again because I get nervous I forgot to turn my Bluetooth. I forgot to turn my, airplane mode on, so I can't get calls. And there's a story called 3 Feet from Gold, and I kind of forget exactly how it goes, but there's this guy who's digging, and he's digging, and he's digging, and he's digging for gold, and, I think I'm telling the story wrong, but anyways, he doesn't find the gold. Another guy comes, notices someone was digging, and he digs. I forget how the story goes. He either digs in that hole 3 more feet and finds a bunch of gold, or moves 3 feet over and digs another hole and finds gold. But anyways, the point of the story was this guy that quit was 3 feet away from finding the gold. And Mike was like, man, you got to think like that with every customer you're with every deal, every time that you are in the sale, you are just 3 feet from gold. And me and Mike are thinking about starting a podcast together, man. I mean, this is like a dream come true to me, man. My GM, who has gone from negative dollars to I won't share his what he's worth, but to well over what anybody in my life that I know personally is making. And the thing is, man, there's no focus about money. We don't even talk about money. He talks about giving. He goes on vacation. You know, he sees places, and he's so generous, man. Every time I go out to eat, you know, I can try to pay for a meal, but he won't let me. You know, like, it's just like, I don't know. Don't you want to pay for somebody's meal one day? I don't know. That's just that's what gets me excited. Is I love to provide. I love when my wife can just go buy a piece of clothing. I love when I can stop at the gas station and buy energy drinks for my bosses. I love when I want to do something for somebody and I can. You know, I want to do that times 10. I want to help more people. That's why I'm sitting here on this camera by myself in a room. I want to help more people. That's all, man. That's all. I'm starting to get emotional. It's out there. That's all I gotta say. It's out there, and I'm out of here. This is Hindsight. Please subscribe, like, and comment. Thank you. Okay, welcome to Hindsight. This is your host, Mitchell Hines, ready to get it poppin'. I want to tell you guys a quick story. This is my co-host, DeVito Jr. David, say something to the fans.
Hey, guys.
He said, hey, guys. Last episode you saw, we had 2 mics. There was a lot of issue with the editing on the second mic, so until I build an apparatus, because the mic stand's not working right, we're going to have to share a mic, so just maybe 1 or 2 more weeks of us sharing a mic. But anyways, I didn't tell you guys a story about these sunglasses. I got these sunglasses for my birthday, shout out to my wife. So we were in Clearwater, Florida, and I saw them, and I was like, oh yeah, I want those. And she was like, no, they're overpriced here, and she was right. We found them online for a lot cheaper, and that's the moral of the story is don't be afraid to look online for a better deal. Better deal. This podcast is sponsored by myself. I have no sponsors yet, so as this grows, if you want to sponsor, let me know. I will be here, ready to roll. So today I'm going to tell some stories. I want to remind you, if this is your first time tuning in, this is a podcast primarily for the music maker, the producer, the artist, or even the drawer, creator, painter. If you're an architect, maybe you'll enjoy this podcast. Anything that's creative that you have to start from the beginning and build and have to have reflection on, this podcast is for you because it's called Hindsight. What hindsight means is you look at past events and you basically say, in hindsight, I should have done this. So my plan or my goal is to help you avoid mistakes because I've done things that I shouldn't have done that way. If you think about music, music was probably first created by some cavemen that were bored, that wanted to pass some time, and they, started banging some tools together, and they were like, those were my tools I was banging, and they were like, however caveman spoke or sung, and they probably used it to tell stories, and they probably used singing to, sing kids to sleep. A lot of traditions got passed on all the way to today's centuries, like singing lullabies to your children. So music has always been an expression of how one feels. And I know as an artist, my main goal is to make what I feel. When I listen to music, what I think a good song makes a good song is that this song resonate with something that I feel. David, what do you think makes a good song?
What I think makes a good song is like something that you can drain out what you're doing while listening to the song. So like you're not focused. So if you're at work and you're just listening to that song and you don't even realize that 3 minutes went by and then the song is over. And then that 3 minutes is just a blur because you were listening to the music. So something that can just drown your time out and you can just vibe to it.
Exactly. David likes, and that's almost what I was saying, except the youth version, right? So what he said, what he's looking for is something that takes that 3 minutes and it basically puts you into a time machine 3 minutes into the future because you just enjoy the song so much. You vibe out to it. You have feelings and emotions, and that gets you jacked up or sad, or it helps you when you're sad, or it does something for you that does something for you, if that makes any sense. I have a quote where like I want to hang on, wait till I get back to the mic. I have this book from rest in peace to the Bean, Kobe Bryant. There's this part, and it looks like this. Hopefully I don't get in trouble for showing this, but in 2003, it was a wrap for everybody. That's the big quote. There was nothing emotionally, mentally, physically, strategically anyone could do that season to stop me. Once I reached that level, health aside, there was nothing anyone could do during the ensuing years to slow me down. At that point, it was about the Lakers surrounding me with enough talent that we could be in contention and challenge for the championship. For some people, I guess it might have been hard to stay sharp once you've reached the pinnacle. Not for me, though. It was never enough. I always wanted to be better. I wanted more. I can't really explain it other than that I loved the game but had a very short memory that fueled me until the day I hung up my sneakers. So, if you're a creator, you got two options. You can do it as a hobby to where you don't care about being the best version that you can be. You just care about passively making music to kind of kill the time, which I'm completely okay with. And then you've got the Kobe Bryant people where you want to be the dominator of your own space in your own music. You want to get so good at your craft that, basically you can make a song a half hour before a show and play that bad boy out. You want to be so good at your craft that when people hear your music, they have to hit repeat. They have to play it again. They have to show a friend. That you want to have those feelings of being unstoppable. What Kobe was talking about was in 2003, he was in the flow state almost every single game. Everything felt effortless. Everything was everything that he was dreamed of. He'd been waking up at 4 a.m. his whole life to train to get an extra session in over most guys. He was obsessive. He was crazy. He didn't take no for an answer, especially when he played basketball. So if you're wanting to be the best, are you willing to put that kind of work in? And that's the first question you have to ask yourself, kind of and decide what you're doing on your journey. Are you wanting to be that person, or are you just wanting to have a fun hobby that you kind of mess around with? Both are okay, but I do think in order to be good, you do have to make that decision and make that commitment. one way to make money that I have a lot of friends doing, that my little brother just started doing, is doing some detailing on the side. David, why don't you tell the fans about some extra money that you're going to be making?
Well, let me go back. I got a little story.
Go ahead.
Because he was talking about being the best.
Talk a little louder or closer to the
Being
mic.
the best, and one thing to be the best is you can never give up. Even if something hard hits you in the road, you just gotta keep going. If you want that, if you really want to accomplish your dream, you gotta keep going. So I'm gonna tell you guys a little story that I just told him about 15, 20 minutes ago about something I want to do in my future that put a huge bump in my road. So I worked as a detailer at his work for a while. For about 2 months, I was doing it, and I saved up enough money. I finally bought my first car. It was a truck. And then not even 10 miles later, the engine blew up. So, completely totaled. They wouldn't let me return it and get my money back. That was $2,400 down the drain in about 4 hours of work. Because I went in, drove to work, and then came home, and then didn't even make it past the third exit. So, I was like really down. I felt like giving up, because I didn't have a whole bunch of money anymore, because I spent a lot of it on my detailing equipment and then my truck and all of that, and I was getting ready. And I was like bummed out. I was like, I don't even want to do this anymore. So then I was going online just looking at trucks, and I found this one that I really liked. I took some money out, I put a down payment on it, and I got another truck 2 days later. Not even 2 days later, like a day and a half. So I'm just saying, this dream right here is it's going to be hard, but you got to get through it if you want to be the best. And even if there's struggling things that happen that may get in your path, you got to keep going and keep striving for what you want. And there may be big bumps in the road that may stop you from trying to achieve it, but you got to keep going. And that right there is what I was just trying to tell everyone: be the best.
That's some speed bumps he's talking about. Sometimes in life you're going to encounter a speed bump where you have to slow down in order to speed up, or something's an obstacle's going to get in your way, much like a speed bump. A speed bump is when you're cruising, life's going fine, and then all of a sudden you got to slow down because the speed bump is there. And that can be tough. It can be tough to bounce back from losing $2,500. A lot of people don't even have $2,500 to their name. So that can be tough to lose. That can be tough to go through, tough to lose, and tough to experience. But that's just what it is. That's what it is. A lot of people have asked me, what exactly this podcast is going to be about, what I'm going to focus on. And I think I've decided to focus on kind of, the brand new music producer. The people who are just now opening their musical equipment for the first time. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through the music equipment that I use. And it doesn't mean you have to use this stuff. Just I've had a few people ask me about what my equipment is, so I want to cover that really quickly. For my computer, I use a 2017 iMac with the Retina display, I believe. I bought that on a credit card, so I wasn't balling when I bought it. I bought it on a credit card. I've now paid that off, though. I use an Akai 247, MPK 247 keyboard occasionally. I also use an Ableton Push. I've got a Furman power bank for all my plug-in all my power stuff. I've got a complete Audio 6 audio interface. I've got, for the microphone you see here, this is a Rode NT1A, which I highly recommend if you want a microphone. This thing is a beast, and I combine it with it's called the DBX. Hang on, let me check. 286S. The DBX 286S. It's like a preamp. What a preamp is, if you're not used to it, these terms, is it takes the audio that's going through this mic and it makes it louder before it hits the computer interface, and it makes everything sound a little bit more full. It's pretty gnarly. Ableton Push and the Rocket 5s, which I want to upgrade for my speakers. They're called Rocket 5s. I love them. They're great speakers. I want to upgrade to some 6s or some 8s to get some more bass, definitely. So that's all the equipment I use. That's not what I started with. I started with a broken laptop and some, and I didn't even have headphones, actually. I used, what I use? I think I used like some Apple headphones when I first started off, like just a regular headphones, and then I got a computer and these headphones about the same time. And that's all I used for a long time. I'm not really a great piano player, so I would just kind of click buttons in. Also, this is I'm just figuring out what I want to do with this podcast and if I want to teach some music on it. And so not this episode, because I know this is going to be available for audio and video, but maybe at the end of each episode I'll include a 15 to 30 minute like how to make a beat, and I'll videotape that live of me making the beat so you can see the screen of what's going on behind the beat making process. What do you think about that, Dave? You think that'd be cool?
I think that would be really cool, just add something at the very end, so if people watch the whole episode, then if they want to stay and
they
see,
can stay.
And then they can watch it and figure out how to make a beat.
Yeah, and then so I think we'll do that, not tonight, because for 3 hours today, I was messing with OBS, trying to get OBS to work, to where I could talk, record my face, and record Ableton at the same time, but it was lagging. So I might have to not record my face, maybe, I don't know, but I'll figure it out, I'll get it figured out. So that's what we'll do. We'll do 30 to 40 minute episodes, and we'll announce that we're moving into the visual only, and the visual only will be, a lesson on making music, and maybe I'll create even like a lesson plan that you can follow, like a 10-step plan to make a song or something along those lines. I think that would be really gnarly. So let me see here. How else can... this podcast idea, I just kind of decided to run with it before I really gave every episode a bunch of thought. So I'm kind of, winging it. And I don't know, you got any questions, David?
I don't really have any questions as of right now.
Oh, okay, no worries. Well, maybe I can ask you some questions, David. What do you want to do with your life?
As you know, in the state of Indiana, there's not a lot of places dedicated to cars and the car lovers here. And, there's a lot of car lovers in this state and around this state. And one day I just want to open up a nice big store that is dedicated to cars, like car parts, performance parts, cleaning, and all that. And, have like a car museum set up. And just, the state of Indiana, because the nearest one is about 200 miles away in the edge of Ohio.
Yeah, he likes his cars. He definitely likes his cars. I'm not a big fan of... not that I'm not a fan of cool cars. They just never grab my attention the way that music has grabbed my attention. Oh, I remember what I wanted to talk about. So that's my equipment that I have musically. I just went over, and I want to talk about one thing that I did that really boosted my ability to make music really quickly, and that was I had met a guy that at the time that we met, he had been making music on the same program, Ableton, for 6 years. And my friend Robbie introduced me to him. His name is Tony. He goes by Industry instead of it's INDV, like it's like upside down. But he had the patience to let me sit with him and ask him questions, and we made song after song together. Mostly it was just 85% him, 15% me. I would occasionally make a melody, but I think he was producing off my vibe. But I got to ask, questions like when he was EQing stuff, I would, learn what the EQ is, and I would learn how to EQ, and I would learn that you need to cut certain frequencies here, like, if it's not a kick or a sub, cut your frequencies below 100 hertz. I learned all these things sitting next to somebody producing every single day. And I did that for a few months before I made my first beat on my own. But I feel like it rocketed me forward. Like with my first beat was better than a lot of people's first beats that I've heard. Not better. I don't want to use the word better because music's subjective, but it was more put together because I had seen so many songs put together in the past that it was kind of a blessing to see that put together like that. And I was just so thankful for Tony. He's humble in the sense that he doesn't take a lot of credit for the way I am, but man, without that guy, I don't think I would be as far with my music as I am. So I'm really grateful for that. I'm grateful for the opportunity that he provided. I want to say shout out to Theo Vaughn. He's a podcaster. He and comedian. His comedy has really helped me kind of get out of a depressive state. I was in a little bit of a depressive state this year, and his comedy just really helped bring me out of that and laugh a lot. So if you're in a depressive state, make sure you switch the narrative. Start watching things that really make you laugh. Start watching things that really tickle your peach, so to say, and get yourself active, get yourself motivated. You really deserve it. So I think we're going to keep this episode a little short today just because I was a little underprepared and my stomach hurts a little bit, to be honest. So this is Hindsight on Hindsight's Hindsight. This is my little brother David. And
are we kicking off? Is this it?
I think we're in today, yeah.
Yep, we're kicking off today, people.
Okay. And maybe if we're lucky, I might add for the YouTube version a little how-to tutorial on how to make a beat at the end of this. Probably not. I don't know. I'll let you guys know. Thank you so much.
I just wanna post all this music that I'm making, feeling myself like a TikTok patient, so they can't seem to touch me, feeling myself, don't need no IV. I just wanna post all this music that I'm making.